Hello, hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome to a new edition of our show titled Speak of Africa. We have a lot of news for you, and we know you are ready for this news. But before we start, we want to say thank you to all our subscribers. Our numbers keep going up. The magic number is 100,000 subscribers. So please, that's our target. Help us get to this target sooner than later. Okay? If you are viewing this show for the first time, my name is Prince Ojong, your host, and I'm happy to bring you this show. But before we begin, we want to tell you that we started this show because we wanted to give you a voice. Please continue subscribing, continue sharing this show with your friends. Every week, we look at what is happening in the motherland. We are Pan-Africanists, and we try to look for the way we can build Africa, take things forward, okay? Every week, we look at the problems Africa is facing, and we suggest solutions. Most of our solutions are ignored by the power that be because of self-interest, but our solutions are the most practical way to resolve a lot of the problems Africa faces. Today, we're going to focus more on what I call the failed state phenomenon in Africa. Most of the states we have in Africa are colonial concoctions, which means they were created by the colonial masters for their own benefit, not only to serve the interests of the African people. So which is why most of these states are not working. This is why in the end, most of these states fail. But before we go into details about the phenomenon of the failed state, I want to do some house chores. We talked to you before about our pharmacy courses. We're teaching these courses because we want our people to get new jobs. So we've started the registration. The registration now is open for the pharmacy courses. So please feel free to register for the pharmacy classes. We've already accepted some students who have registered. By the middle of June, we're going to close the registration ledger. So please try to register as soon as possible so you can get started with your classes, okay? You can call, you can even go to our website, pharmacyprof.com, or you can call 301-760-0335, and you have the information you need to register for these classes. Okay, concerning the failed state, I remember when I used to be in grad school, my philosophy, sociology professor defined this phenomenon as a phenomenon that has been written extensively by the German sociologist called Max Weber. Max Weber gives us a very succinct definition of a failed state. But what about a successful state? A successful state is a state that is marked by good governance. In addition, it is a state where the government maintains control of legitimate and monopolistic use of physical force or violence. So there are two words I've used in this definition: legitimate and monopolistic. So if a state is failing, it means that state has lost control of legitimate and monopolistic use of physical violence or force. The state has lost control. The state is in disorder. The state is in confusion. In fact, that's the way we find a lot of states in Africa today. And we're going to start with Nigeria. We're going to start with Nigeria because Nigeria is a big state, and you can see that this state was created out of many kingdoms that existed in Africa before. Because when you look at Nigeria, you feel like, oh, there's too much diversity. Yes, because the white man did not take the cultural diversity of Nigeria into account. They just created a geography, artificial borders, then they just carved out people who were in that region and just said, oh, you guys will be a nation. Is that the way you create a nation? No, but that's the way the British did it. And which is why we're having the aftershocks since 1960, when Nigeria gained independence from Britain. You have the Hausas in the north. These are like the major clans. or ethnic groups. You have the Igbos, then you have the Yorubas. Of course, you have a lot of minorities. So when you put all of this together, it's like you put a lot of stuff in a bowl. How can you mix it? And you think it's going to blend. It's not going to blend. That's what the British did. And it's causing problems up to today. The news, which you remember, is the killing of over 5 police officers in Abia State. It's very, very sad. This is the biggest news out of Nigeria this week. The killing of over 5 police officers, plus a lot of civilians too. It looks like these police officers were ambushed at a checkpoint. The suspicion is that the members of IBOB, indigenous people of Biafra, are behind these killings. But IBOB has disclaimed. They've said, no, they are not involved in this killing, but they are still laying the blame on them. A lot has been said. It is a shame that Nigeria is going through this crisis, and the president of the country is spending more time talking about changing the national anthem from the old one to the new one. Why this change? When Nigeria has so many intractable problems, why focus on something that is just symbolic? So what's wrong with Bola Tinubu? That's what the people are saying. So many people are vocal about this problem. So this killing of 5 police officers plus many civilians has drawn the attention of a lot of Nigerians. And they are telling Mr. Bola Tinubu, please, Mr. President, focus on what is important. Stop worrying about the national anthem. Okay? Oh, arise, oh, compatriots. Is that what you want? Or you want to go back to the anthem? Come on, that's a joke. The Afenifere, they are also against Bola Tinubu. They're telling him to focus on the problems of the people. Things are very, very expensive in Nigeria. People cannot buy medicine, they cannot buy food. Everything is very, very expensive. Then the Naira itself is not making things better for the people. Yet, Bola Tinubu, Mr. President, focus on solving the problems of your people. It looks like you just wanted to be president. You did not really have a serious agenda to serve the Nigerian people. But the people want to be served. In fact, some of you are really telling us the way the Labour Party is really handling things in Abia State. Alex Oti, who is the governor from Peter Obi's party, you guys are telling me he has done a really good job since they came into power. They are even talking about dealing with these bandits and criminal elements. But who are you going to blame? You don't have to blame the people. Criminal elements will exist when you as a leader, you make it profitable. You make crime profitable. Because Nigeria fits the definition of Max Weber of a failed state. A state in which the government has lost control, legitimate use of force, and monopolistic use of force. So right now you have many characters. You have gangs who are using weapons. So the police do not have a monopolistic hold over weapons in Nigeria anymore. A lot of elements, bandits, kidnappers, thieves, they have weapons. Then the second item is legitimacy. Legal. No, are these actions just? Not the way I was taught justice by Socrates, Plato, or Aristotle. When you look at justice, truth, when the government is not truthful, when the government does not want good governance, of course, these bad elements will be there. And that's what is happening in Nigeria. We've talked on this show many times that the government of Nigeria needs to address the people's problem. IBOB started as a peaceful movement, but now it has morphed into a violent arm. Even though Nnamdi Kanu is disclaiming and said, oh no, those are not my people. Well, the people are doing this in his interest. So let's be real. We said it before. If Buhari Muhammadu, the former president, was not smart enough to change from a military to a political solution, now is the time to look for a political solution to the problem of IPOB in Nigeria. Okay? Even the Afenifere will agree with us that that's the right thing to do. A political solution is necessary. That's what Peter Obi, the leader of the Labour Party, is also advocating for. A political solution. So stop the incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu. Release him today. Release Nnamdi Kanu. Then start working with most of these groups to find out what is wrong. Why are they angry? Then try to address African institutions. When we look at the way our forefathers used to solve problems, they did not just take guns and start killing people because they have a military. They make sure that the use of force is legitimate. Because when you start using force illegitimately, then you are not really a good government. And that's what is happening with the government of Nigeria. They use force arbitrarily and kill people who are not even supposed to be killed. So this is not good. So many parties are really complaining. So you can see the way they've come out just to condemn the crime. Even a lot of the IPOB members, even the lawyer of Nnamdi Kanu, he's against this killing. And he has said it. He's against the killing. But that's not enough. What needs to be done is a political solution, Mr. Bola Tinubu. Look for a way to solve this problem quick, and that will help us a whole lot. Another failed state is La République du Cameroon.
$25,000 to $250,000 per year made easy. Do you dream about making big money? Well, we all do. Imagine joining pharmacy professionals to earn good money. Statistics show that the big pharma industry rules and controls America like a colossus. Do you want to find more details about the hidden gem? Join the Pharmacy Success crew now. Become a pharmacy professional today. Let us train you as pharmacy techs, foreign pharmacy graduates, USA pharmacy students. Learn to earn. We offer affordable online and offline programs. Act now. Browse our website for details, pharmacyprof.com, or call 301-760-0335.
This is run by Mr. Paul Biya, and it fits the characteristics of a failed state. When we say it's a failed state, it means that the government does not really have complete control over its territory and its borders. Most of the bad elements. In the north, you have Boko Haram. Then in the southwest and northwest region of Cameroon, you have Ambazonia. So these people have decided that they don't want to be part of La République du Cameroon, and they want to restore their independence. Instead of Paul Biya negotiating with them peacefully, he believes in the use of force, illegitimate force. Before, his B used to have a monopoly of all the weapons. But now what the people are doing, they are seizing weapons from the B and using the same weapons to fight Biya's army. Interestingly, a lot of elements of this rogue army are falling. They are not invincible. Initially, Paul Biya thought these people are invincible. They're going to fight and crush the Anglophones, people they considered 2 cubes of sugar. They will dissolve in a minute. But for over 7 years, the 2 cubes of sugar cannot dissolve. What's happening? The bee is not up to the task. So it's really sad. Bee cannot really vanquish these people. I said it before on this show. Freedom is a spirit. You cannot kill freedom. You can kill the messengers of freedom, but you cannot kill the spirit of freedom, because a spirit cannot be killed. A spirit is everlasting. B has been killing people in Ambazonia, southern Cameroon. The people were looking at southern Cameroon like a paradise. Because of a fake plebiscite organized by the French and Aijo, the people of southern Cameroon lost their right to self-determination. Now they were thinking that they would join their brothers to form a new Cameroon. But their brothers, the Francophones, are maltreating them in a unitary state. They tried to protest peacefully with peace plans. Biya sent his forces to unleash violence on them. This violence, according to Max Weber, is illegitimate because a state should exercise legitimate violence. Now, the Biya government does not have the monopoly on physical force anymore. The Ambazonian Restoration Forces are also using their weapons they have seized and some that they bought in the black market. Some of these weapons come from the porous border between Cameroon and Nigeria. So as you can see, Cameroon meets the definition of a failed state. Why did this state fail? It is the sign of so many things happening. You have causes, now we're seeing the effects of the failure. But why did it fail? For one, when Paul Biya came to power in 1982, he gave the impression that he was giving Cameroonians a new deal. If Cameroonians have been disheartened by the dictatorial regime of Amadou Ahidjo, Biya represented a new deal, new opening. He used slogans like morality, good governance. In the end, we're only seeing a guy who is very corrupt, leading a very corrupt government. All those guys are corrupt. You cannot even get anything if you are not corrupt in that system. If you're a nice guy, you cannot function in that system. So many people are really angry with this Biya government, and that's why it is failing. It is corrupt. The police is corrupt. So now the government does not even control its territory anymore. Biya had believed in the use of force. That is his hallmark. I'll use force and crush them in 2 minutes. They are just 2 cubes of sugar. Biya unleashed his dogs, attack dogs, his tribesmen, so that they should kill these Anglophones. They have been killing them for so many years, since 2016, but the people are like Spartans. They are not surrendering. Now, the aged Biya cannot even understand what is happening. Well, he will never comprehend because this is bigger than him. They're always looking for artificial solutions. We said it before. The conditions that created this crisis need to be addressed. Don't try to make peace when you've not brought justice. So justice should come first. It's just like the egg and the chicken. What comes first? No. According to the people of Ambazonia, resolve the issue of justice first. Stop sending Francophone magistrates to run their affairs. Stop sending Francophone teachers to run their affairs. Try to be just. Try to have good governance. Let the people make decisions about their affairs. Okay? You can say, oh, Cameroon is one and indivisible. That's just propaganda. You've not shown that Cameroon is one and indivisible. You've shown that if you are from Bulu tribe, you get everything. If you are from Bamenda or from Manfe, you get nothing because you are not part of Biya's tribe. So tribalism has really worsened the problem in La République du Cameroon. And now the center cannot hold. There is confusion. Even among the ruling class who come from Biya's area, there is division. Okay? We're looking at 2025. Biya has sent out his toothless bulldog Atanganji to start threatening the opposition. But people like Maurice Kamto, they are already complaining that what happened in 2018 will not happen in 2025. They will not just allow Biya's fraud machine to steal the election again, because this is what Biya's fraud machine does all the time. They will always say, oh, we won the election. We are the victors. Elekam said we've won. But at the same time, they are the ones telling Elekam what to do. Elekam cannot say Biya has lost the election. Even in 1992, the SDF won the election, but Biya took victory. So the CPDM is a party of fraud. The people know this. When Kamto lost to CPDM illegitimately, he cried foul. He used the platform of the media to really make the average Cameroonian legitimate. So the average Cameroonian now knows that the Biya government is corrupt and illegitimate, so nothing can change that. 2025 is going to be a watershed election, and Cameroonians are watching attentively. Biya does not want to go away into the sunset. He wants to stay and rule Cameroon until he dies. But the opposition is ready for him. The opposition is forming a group, an umbrella tent, so that they can march and handle Biya with his fraud machine. So they know, Mr. Kamto has said already, he's not going to take it lying down the way he did last time. So which means, if Biya tries to steal the election this time, there's going to be war in Cameroon. And that's what we can tell you already. So the failed state is going to have a civil war. Now, the civil war is in Ambazonia, which is limited, but the civil war will start engulfing the entire country. And that's what we're telling you. So all the opposition guys are ready. Maurice Kamto of the MRC is ready. Joshua Oshie of SDF is ready. Kawala is ready. Cabral Libi is ready. So you see all these opposition guys are ready. So Paul Atanganji can make the noise. They look at him like an illiterate, a dull guy who doesn't know anything. He's thinking that they will send him out like a dog. He will back, I'm Minister of Territorial Administration, Minister of Interior. What is that going to do? It's not really going to do much. So as we can see, there's even a letter some of you guys sent to us. It was a letter against the plebiscite. It was written by the fund of Nso, something Atta. The fund was just laying the plain truth in our faces why the plebiscite was not done well. The machinations that went into that plebiscite. So you can really see the fund's letter gives us a window through which we can really understand what actually happened during that plebiscite, why we are having the conflict of today. If the plebiscite were done properly, we would not really have this conflict. But the truth is, a lot of the people were manipulated to vote and join East Cameroon because France wanted that. France wanted the resources from Ambazonia, so they manipulated everything. They had their marionette, Amadou Ahidjo Babatura, to do their bad work for them. Okay? So what are the consequences? That's why Cameroon is a failed state, according to my professor Max Weber, the sociologist. Okay? From Cameroon now, I take you to South Africa.
Tired of waiting in long lines at the emergency room or your doctor's office? You should be. Why wait in long lines for care? It's time for you to come to Lucille Urgent Care. Real care, no waiting. Lucille Urgent Care, the best place for true and loving care. Service at Lucille Urgent Care is convenient, fast, time efficient, affordable, accessible, transparent, and cost effective. Royal treatment is your right. Indeed, it's not just a privilege or pejorative. Skip the emergency room's long lines, kiss the ER goodbye, say farewell to your old doctor's office, pay less, save time, enjoy the excitement of convenience, receive immediate treatment, get the healthcare you need quickly and affordably. Lucille Urgent Care offers many express services: rapid COVID-19 testing, on-site prescription, preventative lab services, imaging and x-rays, urgent medical treatment for common illnesses and injuries, routine vaccines and flu shots, work-related injury services, pre-employment, occupational, annual, and sports physicals, immigration exams, and much more. Same-day treatment, rapid lab results, extended hours, weekend hours, no appointment necessary, no insurance necessary, no doctor necessary, walk-ins accepted, telemedicine available. We are open 7 days a week with evening and weekend hours. We are located in Maryland. Lucille Urgent Care, 903 Half York Road, Towson, Maryland, 21204. Website, lucilleuc.com. Call at 443-275-1286 or 301-593-4897.
South Africa has just had their elections. We've been following these elections and we've been reporting the results to you. We told you the way things are going to play out. We predicted that the ANC, the African National Congress, the party that led South Africa to independence, the party that changed South Africa from an apartheid country to a democratic country. Nelson Mandela was basking in the fanfare. Job well done. But after over 30 years, the young people see a disconnect with this ANC party. There's so much trouble in South Africa. I have relatives who travel to South Africa and they bring the stories to me. Unemployment is a serious problem. The people were thinking that democracy is not just going to be a system where they'll have the right to vote. Their livelihood is also going to change. But today, all the world remains in the hands of very few white people. We've been saying that things need to change. There need to be wealth redistribution. We're not talking about communism. We're simply saying that the government needs to go back, look at some of those wrong things that happened during the apartheid days. They need to be corrected. It's the same thing even in the United States. There was slavery. After that, the black people were really compensated so that things can be equal. Things have not really been equal, but at least the black people are happier. They can get better jobs than they could during the Jim Crow days. Okay? But in South Africa, the world remains in the hands of just a few white people. Then, of course, the government of the ANC, which has always led South Africa since 1994, very corrupt. Jacob Zuma, corrupt. But interestingly, Jacob Zuma became the colorful character of the 2024 election. Okay? He was not happy with his successor, Cyril Ramaphosa. Okay? So he did everything to act as a spoiler. He made everything possible so that the ANC should not have the majority it always maintains. So for the first time, the ANC will have to form a coalitions in order to survive. Who are they going to form a coalition with? When we look at it, it looks like Jacob Zuma's policies really align with the policies of Julius Malema's party, Economic Freedom Fighters Party. So Jacob Zuma took a lot of votes from the ANC, but he took some votes also from Julius Malema, because it looks like Jacob Zuma's platform mimics Julius Malema's platform. So South Africans, if Jacob Zuma do not do much for you before, do you think it's going to do much for you now? But you know, voters are like young girls. They don't think. They're emotional. They still voted for the new party of Jacob Zuma. Jacob Zuma was just there to have fun. He wanted to steal the victory from the ANC. Jacob Zuma wanted the ANC to lose as a way of paying back his successor. Cyril Ramaphosa's government put Jacob Zuma in jail, so he did not like that. So now he wants to pay back Cyril Ramaphosa with defeat. And it looks like ANC lost. So this is not just a defeat for Cyril Ramaphosa, it's a defeat for that Nelson Mandela generation. So what is the future of South Africa going to be now? We're happy because with what has happened, other parties would have to work with the ANC to form a unity government. And that's what it's going to be. Cyril Ramaphosa is saying he's not going to resign, but we think a unity government is in the offing. Then when we talk about the failed state, South Africa has not failed yet, but is failing because the black people have not done what they should have done to make their people live in a good country with all their needs fulfilled. So South Africa has failed because they have not provided a safe environment for the people to live as citizens. Then corruption in South Africa is very, very heavy. Unemployment is a major problem. So there are just too many problems. Can black people not rule themselves? That's the question this ANC is making people ask. So you keep having the list of failed states. I know the very first time we heard about a failed state, it had to do with Somalia. Since then, since those early 90s, Somalia has not really been stable. It has continued to fail. You can read up on it. Then what about Congo DRC? It's another failed state, and you can get the news. A coup d'etat happened there just a few weeks ago, and Felix Tshisekedi is really looking for people to blame. Then, of course, he always blames Rwanda and Paul Kagame. Paul Kagame has his own problems. You know, July 4th, the British are going to the polls. They're going to elect a new prime minister. Okay? Sunak may not really be there because the Labour Party in Britain is already ahead. We hear they're about 10, 12 points ahead of the Conservative Party. So what is going to happen? So it looks like when the Labour Party wins, they're going to rubbish those agreements Paul Kagame signed with the UK government. So which means asylum seekers are happy because they're not going to go to Rwanda. Paul Kagame can keep the money that they've given him already. We hear the British government gave him over 310 million pounds. So let him keep that money. When I look at Paul Kagame, I say, this guy is not a very good guy. He reminds me of a character in Dr. Faustus, titled Mephistopheles. Mephistopheles, a character, very devilish character. That's the kind of guy Paul Kagame is. Then what about Burkina Faso? Well, this is really another failed state because from what we see, Burkina Faso is having a lot of problems. Okay? What about Central African Republic? Same thing. Libya, Sudan, Somalia, Niger. These are all failed states. Thank you very much for watching our show. May God bless you.
Do you need tax preparation services? We can help. Contact PJ Tax Service, America's only full-time income tax preparers. Like the good old doctor, we do not close our doors after April 15th. In fact, we stay open all year round in order to serve you. We are located at 11207A, Lockwood Drive, Silver Spring, Maryland, 20901. Make an appointment today with Prince Ojong, your tax expert. Call 240-350-1131 or visit us on the web at www.pjtaxservice.com.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.